Hi folks, I'm Stephen Crone, thanks for joining me again. Now today, this is a photograph I took a couple of summers ago in Sutton Park when it was very wet. So we got all these nice reflections, and I've tried to simplify the painting from the photograph as much as I possibly could. So let me show you a close-up of the photo. So you can see initially, right, we've got all these hundreds and hundreds of twigs and branches and things, so it's just a case of trying to simplify all of that. But what we have got in this water, we've got a chance of loads and loads of nice reflections. But I'll post this picture on my Patreon page so you can get a good look at it. So speaking of Patreon, let's just have a quick look what we've got. It is a post, I posted this earlier today, and this is like another version of that stormy sky tutorial I did yesterday, but this time I did this one a couple of weeks ago. This time I've done it as like a step-by-step photo guide. So you'll see this on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Stephen Crone. You'll see the link in the description. Right, so I'm thinking of starting with, as I often do, raw sienna. Just stick a little bit of lemon yellow into it as well. Bring that down there because all the sky is going to be reflected in the water. I'll be on that side as well. Just clean the brush a little. Let's put a little bit of alizarin and ultramarine. I mean, these colours aren't in the reference, but I'm worried about it. I'm just using the reference as a rough guide. People say, you know, that colour's not the same, that colour's not the same. It really doesn't matter. It's your own painting, and you can have it any way you want, any colours. Use whatever you want, basically. So that's a nice little backdrop. Now I've got the same. If we just imagine there's like just some often I'll put clouds like right on the horizon just to bring that, make it easy to see what's going on the horizon. So I'm going to start off with a bit of same colours as the sky. Now work out your eye, let's bring it down a bit. Popping down the reflections at the same time. Now I'm going to switch to the sword liner brush. I've got a whole load of things going on. I'm putting down the reflections at the same time as I put these in, because I'll just forget to do them otherwise. A whole mass of trees and twigs and branches and all sorts of things. The beauty of the sword liner is you don't have to keep reloading it like the rigger brush. There's pros and cons to every brush really, you just have to find out what suits you the best. Every artist has got their own preferred way of working. So that's a little bit of background. And over here there's a bit of green, I'm just going to whack that in. Down some reflection as well at the same time. A bit of brown or something going on over there. Back to the sword liner and back to a few more trunks and twigs and things growing amongst all the undergrowth. trying to make out what's going on here in the photograph. There's a bit of land, sort of breaks there. Something like that. Come back down a little bit. The paper's stretched a little bit while I'm doing that, so let's just pull it tight against the 9mm piece of plywood I got leaning against my easel. It's only this, it's almost 90° vertical. That's purely because it's easier to film, that's the only reason. Any angle will do. Now on the left, let's go a bit of raw sienna down there. And then this is going pretty high. Right up the top there somewhere. Pull down reflections, although we're almost on land now, so I ain't worrying about it too much. That's up there. Now we are on land there, so I ain't going to worry about reflections now. But I'm going to put in, we still want twigs and branches and all sorts of things. See where the paint, see how the paint's just flicking off the brush. I ain't worried about that. In fact, the more the merrier. I want bits of paint running all over the place. The looser the better. Let's pull a few of these down. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put the land in, but it's going to be somewhere around there, so some of these will need reflections. Just making a general dark colour. And then as the paint dries, it will go on stronger and stronger. It's nice to do water. I haven't painted water for, it seems like ages since I painted water. Well, let's put this land mass in over here on the left hand side. So I'm going to keep it fairly light. So we got have that cutting across there like that. I'll put it in darker in a bit. Coming down. Something like that. And then this comes in on this side. So that's all the sort of landing now. So now I've got to put in the stronger stuff in the foreground. But first, let's just give that a quick dry. Hang on, just make sure this is flat first. I'll give it a quick dry, and that way the foreground and middle ground stuff will go on a lot stronger. I'm just getting a bit of brown, bit of red, bit of blue, just a general dark mix. And then there's like a big one there's a big one here, and it's just going up there like that. Something. There's actually two. Don't forget the reflections. And then a little bit further up, those ones are going up there as well. Should have done these first because they're behind, but that's alright. Don't forget the reflections again. A load of things. We got things growing right the way up the top. And there's also a few coming down, big tree, some in the foreground just coming right down there like that. Now on the other side, actually first, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This wants to be a little bit, just put this in a little bit stronger, I think. Wanted a few little darker tones in there. It's all pretty light. See what, I'm just going to switch to this rigger brush now, and I'm just going to put a few dark marks in here and there. Out there. All massive twigs and things going on. What that'll look like if I use this brush instead. I don't think the marks will be quite as delicate. I'm just curious. These marks, they're nothing in particular, they're just random sort of little dark tones here and there just to keep the interest. On the ground. Just a few marks across the water. A few darks here and there. Let's just mark where the water line is. Sort of somewhere just around here somewhere. We've got something cutting straight across there. It's in a light colour, but I'm gonna do it in dark. I think I'm not gonna faff around. You know, a bit thicker. Our mass of twigs and things seem to just meet in the middle somewhere. Something like that. Again, just want a few random marks here and there. This is almost, I'm almost using it like a pen now, just to mark out little mark, almost like pen and like line and wash, pen and ink, whatever they call it. I'm almost sort of just drawing things on, but it's all about using different techniques and things just to bring the thing to life. I mean, if you hold the two together, you can see the difference in size. It does get on your nerves just constantly reloading the rigger all the time. This just lets you go for ages without having to constantly reload the paint onto the brush. If I just dry that again, and I might put a little shadow in the foreground. I'll take a bit of brown, bit of red, bit of blue. I'm just going to brush just a bit of a shadow here. I think not too much. It's just something going on in the photo. Maybe a few little darks. I think I might just call that one done. So let's sign that, stick a mount on it and see what it looks like. Back to the rigger brush, just put a bit of red on it. Let's just sign that down there. Right, let's stick a mount on that now and see what it looks like. There's our finished painting. There you can see the reference photograph I was using. So the first problem was just hundreds of twigs and branches and things It's all about trying to just simplify the scene, just picking out the main elements here and there. So amongst all the hundreds of trees, well not hundreds of branches and trunks and things, so you got these two coming up here, you got this sort of massive green there, there's a bit of green there, and I'll just pick out the odd one, and that's all I've just done, just simplified it as best as I could, remembering to pull down the colours, starting with those far trees, just pulling down the same colours as I'm doing it, just so it makes it a lot easier while you've got the colour on the brush, rather than, I know sometimes people sort of do the top and then they re-wet it and then they sort of do the bottom afterwards, but you've got to try and match the same colours. I've never seen the point of that. It's a lot easier to do it at the same time. You can see all the little bits of rigger and liner, just to try and add all these little details, all these little marks and dark bits. Same over on the left hand side. Just left the bottom here quite large, just so I cast that little shadow, just a hint of a shadow there on this left hand foreground shore. And then a few little darks and shadows amongst the trees. And you can see the stronger tones here just contrasting against the lighter ones in the background. And then just the liner marks all over the place, just to add interest. That's my little way of simplifying these sort of complicated woodland water scenes. Hope you enjoy that. Thanks as always for watching. Thanks for all the support of the patrons over at patreon.com/Stephen Crone. If you get the opportunity, you'd be very welcome to see me over there. There's about 250 plus videos exclusive to patrons, plus there's the community gallery and reference photographs and the articles and whatnot. So if you've got any questions, please ask. Keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.